Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Amped Up EV. I just wanted to make a quick video for you about the Hummer EV. So I got the 3X here on vacation in Arizona. And yeah, pretty cool. You can see it behind me here. I made a quick list of some things, 5 things I like, 5 things I dislike about the vehicle so far. I've had it for 3 or 4 days. But let me go ahead and show you some of these. I'm going to flip my camera around. I guess I'll start with the likes because there is a lot to like about this vehicle. First thing is, I really like the looks. It's just a big vehicle. It looks really rugged and cool. I love the styling of it. You know, I'm into boxy SUVs anyway. I feel like if you're gonna go with an SUV, you want it to look boxy and mean and have a bit of ruggedness to it. But I really like the overall styling. I like this front light bar. It's this Hummer EV right there in the front glass. I love these big beefy tow hooks, both on the front and there's one on the rear as well. I guess they're functional, but you know, this thing weighs 9,000 pounds, so I'm not sure how much you're going to be towing it anywhere. However, it does look awesome. I love the paint color too. I don't think this is actually a factory paint. It's not a matte wrap, which is pretty cool. This particular vehicle is from Turo, has a PPF front end here, front bra, but besides that, this is the actual factory paint. It's kind of like a matte green. Pretty cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. And so just overall, you know, these big wheels here. We got all-terrain tires. What size are we on here? I didn't even look actually. Looks like, no, we'll figure it out. But they're big beefy tires. These are definitely 35 inches, you know, with the wheel. Got these factory, what do you call it? Running bars here. I'm missing. Nice and solid. I think they're actually rock sliders too, from what I read. So maybe not, you know, the full weight of the vehicle, but they do protect the sides of the vehicle a little bit if you're hitting some rocks with them. They're very solid. Those are factory as well. Yeah. So okay, like number 2, the off-road capabilities. We actually took this a little super light off-roading today, but this vehicle will raise to like 16 inches of ground clearance. You can see it's in normal mode now. It's actually not even in the highest mode. But it's, you know, all-terrain tires from the factory. It's got a whole bunch of off-road modes, mountain mode, and stuff like that. So off-road mode, I think in the off-road capabilities of this vehicle, even though it is big and heavy, are excellent for a full-size SUV. We also have the rear tire, full-size spare tire on the back. That's really nice. You know, I have a Rivian R1S, and we don't get a spare tire at all. So just to have a spare tire for off-roading is nice. One thing I will give it a ding on is the lack of an air compressor. The Rivian has an air compressor, this does not, so not the biggest deal in the world. You could always get I have a $50 portable battery-powered one with my Tesla, but you could always get a battery one, but it is nice to have it built into the vehicle. All right, we like number 3. We got the size. I just like the presence of the vehicle, how it looks on the road. I like how when you sit in it, you feel like you're up high. I'll hop in here and show you guys. But yeah, I just like kind of the seating position. I like the, I mean, here, you have to, I mean, I'm 5'10" and I have to step up on the running board. And they have these nice grab handles here to pull yourself in. So yeah, once you're in here, the visibility, that's going to be one of my negatives. Visibility, not naturally, the van making all kinds of noise. Visibility not the greatest. This windshield is actually surprisingly narrow. It's kind of, I guess they kept the height down and the hood up, so it looks bigger than it is, but you know, not the biggest windshield in the world. Rear visibility also somewhat limited. You know, you can see out the back, but not well. The good thing with that is these giant side mirrors. So you definitely have full-size truck size side mirrors. Yeah, just like how it's up in the road, how you feel, you know, kind of higher than everybody. Which is, you know, part of getting a giant SUV. You want to feel like it has that presence to it. Yeah. Like number 4, I'm going to say is the performance. Performance of this thing is awesome. It's, again, I don't know if you saw my previous video, not as fast as the Rivian technically. I have a Gen 1 quad motor, but, you know, certainly not far off. And it's just extremely fast. It's anywhere you want to put it, it's going to go quickly. No problems there whatsoever to get off the line, to get up to speed. I've gotten it up to triple digits, and it's not a problem at all. You know, at higher speeds, I think it's not gonna be a Model S Plaid anywhere like that. So, and same with the Rivian. Rivian tops out at 110, and I'm sure this is somewhere in that vicinity as well. But yeah, for off the line type of performance, or even zipping in and out of traffic a little bit on these big Arizona roads, you're in good shape. If you're in California or New York or somewhere like that, this vehicle is just too big to do any kind of traffic maneuvering. So even though it's fast, you know, you make it off the line, but you can't merge into anything because you can't see. And part of the reason for that is I'll turn it on here. Let me close the doors because that's going to be one of my other negatives. These freaking beeps and bings and boops everywhere. One of the things is if you put the blinker on, I'll show you that. So blinker on, but no turn signal camera. So I don't know where the camera, if there is cameras on it, I'm not exactly sure on the sides here, but I do miss the blind spot cameras that I have on the Rivian. You know, especially on a vehicle this width. Oops, turn that off. A vehicle this width, blind spot cameras make a huge difference. I mean, you can't. This is my blind spot view, and sometimes cars are way down there because we're so high, so you can't see next to you. If you are trying to merge over, you just have to kind of be aware of who's around you. And unlike a Rivian or a Tesla, you also don't have the autonomous driving. There is Super Cruise, but there's no autonomous driver display. Like, so on a Tesla or a Rivian, you could see, you know, in that display, the vehicles that it detects around you, and it shows you in a visual. So even if you can't see next to you, you can always refer to that and at least give you, maybe it's not totally foolproof, but at least give you some idea if somebody's next to you. But yeah, definitely the performance of this car is excellent. I'll show you guys my number 5 here. Let me hop out. I'm gonna start with a dislike while we're here. All the beeps and boops. Every time you open the door, you get a loud GM. You hear that? Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. Oh my God, all right. We get it. I mean, it's the same GM beeps and boops that they've been using for 15 years, I think, or longer. And it's just extremely irritating. All right, here's another negative I'm going to give this thing. I just pressed the funk button. A lot of the buttons either kind of don't work or they're just not intuitive. So I pressed the funk button, it unlatched, but it's still partially latched. So I have to, now I have to press the button again a second time, and this front will automatically raise up. Why do you got to press it twice? I don't know. There's no reason. It's just more work. Yeah. This frunk is a good size though, probably bigger than the Rivian. It's a little bit more shallow, but it's deeper, so you definitely can get a couple of good size duffel bags or suitcases or something in there. These are actually the covers for that's my kid stuff. These are the covers for the sunroof, and I didn't have some pictures of that, but I'll show you guys. The sunroof removes. Both the front and the back actually come off, and I did this earlier. It's actually super easy. All you got to do is just take one of these handles, pop it out, and there you go. You just pop that one, you pop this one over here, and this whole panel lifts out. The top is actually plastic, so it's not glass, and it's not that heavy. You know, if you're a smaller person, you might not be able to do it, but it's not anything a normal size person couldn't handle. And you have those nice bags, you throw them in the bag, and they fit perfectly, all 4 of them in the frunk, so you could take them with you in case it starts to rain. I'm going to close this here. I can't stand that beeping and booping. One more bonus thing that I really like, and there's a lot to like about this car, the charging. You know, 350 kilowatts max charging, 19.2 kilowatts on AC power, and that is just excellent. You know, it's a huge battery. It's a 218 kilowatt hour battery or something like that. I believe that's in the truck. The SUV is a little bit smaller, like I think it's 200 or so kilowatts. But regardless, it's one of the biggest batteries you can get in an EV, and you know, that being the case, you're going to need to charge it fast. So 19.2 kilowatts, if you can get that in your house, is, you know, absolutely phenomenal charging speed, and 350 kilowatts is also excellent. You can do that at pretty much any or most EA stations now, or EVgo, some of the other chargers. One negative with that is you're not going to get the 350 kilowatts at a Tesla station, which of course are the best charging stations. I'm gonna hop in here because I got people around. Yeah, that's the best charging stations, but unfortunately, even with the V4s, I don't think this thing will do anywhere near 350. You're probably going to be at more like 265, 270. So they do have the technology to charge both, I forget what they call it, but both layers of the battery at the same time, like a dual charging thing, so they can charge it faster than some of the other vehicles. But regardless, it's pretty cool. It is very fast to charge, and fast charging, big battery, so you're still looking at 30-40 minutes to charge the whole thing, or get up to 10 to 80%, whatever the case is on a trip. But the range is pretty good. I'm at about 80%, which is 249. I think it was 310 or so when I filled it up here. I'll have to check. We should actually be charging, but maybe we're not. I'll check on that. Yeah, so okay, other things I dislike besides the things and beeps and booms. I just hate those noises. They're obtrusive. I had the kids in the back seat. They woke up the kids because I had to open the door for a minute. There's no way to turn them off. It's just totally unnecessary. Also, the backing up noise is like one step away from a van or a commercial vehicle backup noise. It's also pretty annoying. It's not as loud as that, but unnecessary. Rivian makes a nice whooshing sound, like they try to blend in with nature more. The sounds are, the lock sound is a nice tweet, and then you can kind of get spoiled with that. You get in this vehicle, and all you hear are these obtrusive beeps and bam, 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 and like bing bong, bing bong. It's just totally unnecessary, irritating. Okay, one thing I will say about that I don't like is some of the software. So here's the thing: it has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which is great. Personally, I don't mind not having Android Auto or Apple CarPlay at all in my Rivian or my Tesla. In this car, I do mind it. We need the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto because the built-in software is not great. It does have Google Maps. It has some apps you can download, and these are fine. But now, see, I don't get satellite maps in this. So this would be good. I'm probably gonna, when I go on a longer trip, I'm gonna have to use these. But I like the satellite maps, and you can't get satellite maps in the built-in Google Maps here. So when you go to Android Auto, though, if you hit your Android Auto and go to the maps, put in a destination, for example. So now it's not going to tell us.
Head north on North Acamar Lane toward West Via Principia, then turn right on.
Turn that down. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so it's not going to tell us how much battery we're going to have left. It's not going to tell us any of the information as far as, if we needed to charge along the way, we'd have no idea. So most people are going to be using Android Auto, Apple CarPlay with their Google Maps or Waze. And that's all great, but like tomorrow or the next day, we're going to a trip that's like 5 hours away. We're going to need to charge it. And instead of the vehicle telling me where to charge or give me suggestions, I'm going to have to go in here or go into another app, like a Better Route Planner, and figure it out myself. So I think that's a miss. If they could do some better integrations. I know Google Maps does have the integrations to integrate with charging, and some of the other GM vehicles do that to tell you where to charge and what kind of battery percentage you're going to arrive with and all that. But in this one, that's just not how it functions, and I think that's a miss there. So you can see I just like the satellites better here on Android Auto. One thing I don't like about this interface either is that we always have to have this top bar and this sidebar. I wish there was a way to get rid of that, because we have a nice 20% of the screen real estate left that we just can't use for the maps. So it's already kind of a smaller screen than either the Rivian or a Tesla. I have a Model S, so and then we're taking up a good portion of it with these bars. I think if they could get rid of those, it'd be nice. Yeah, so here's another thing with the software, like see my cooled seats, for example. Press the cooled seat, now it switches over here. So if I want to turn the cooled seat down, I press this button, then I press this button. And that's just, to me, it's like a lot of steps. Like, why not just press down on one, or down for cool, up for heat, maybe on one button. Some things are easy. You got your fan up and down here, a couple of buttons down here, traction, steering wheel heat, parking sensors. This is an auto park that I have not tried yet, but we'll have to give that a try later. Yeah, again, I just think there's some things that are unnecessary. You have down here, you got some of your controls for the frunk, for the trunk area. So with the trunk one, it'll open with one press, but then to close it, you actually have to hold the button down and continue holding it the whole time. It's just irritating, and it takes a while. It takes like 10 seconds, so you just got to hold it the entire time, and if you don't remember to do that, you end up forgetting, and the trunk is half closed. You got to do it again. Yeah, the other thing about the confusing buttons, here's a start-stop button. Why do we need a start-stop button in an EV? I don't know. There's no reason to it. It should always just be on. If you push your foot on the brake, it should turn on. When you get out of the vehicle and walk away, it should turn off. Like, This is 2025. There's no reason to have an on-off button. I think it's just to placate people who are more traditional. Maybe they're used to an on-off, but in an EV, not necessary. We don't need to turn it on. And so then, like, you don't have the vehicle quote-unquote on, so you can't roll the windows down, for example, or roll them up. You forget to roll the window up, you come back to the car, you can't roll them back up without getting in the vehicle with the key, turn the car on, then you can roll the windows up, you know. So that's where we're at. Got these guys playing football, which is great. I'm glad Dad and his kid are playing football or whatever. That's great. But I wish they wouldn't do it so close to the $100,000 Hummer, which granted is not mine, but I don't want to try to return it with a dent. Yeah, the anyway, start-stop button, totally unnecessary. Also, I would give another ding to GM as far as lack of updates. There's no... I've looked in some of the forums and stuff, and people said that their vehicle hasn't gotten an update in like a year. There's really no over-the-air updates like you do with a software-defined vehicle like a Tesla, like a Rivian, or even a Lucid. You know, we get regular updates. With these, you just don't. There is an update function over the air, but I don't know how much ever changes with it. I don't think they do all that much. A lot of the recalls and stuff they've had been brought back into the dealership to do. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to personally deal with a GMC dealer or any dealer, so that's another negative, I guess. But if you were to actually own this vehicle, is that you got to deal with a traditional dealership, and to me, that's not something I'm interested in doing. You guys, maybe if you own one of these, tell me in the comments if they. I don't know how the GM dealers are. If they give you a loaner car, and you got a $100,000 Hummer and has a warranty work, will they give you a loaner to take home? Do they do any kind of mobile service? Not that I've heard of, but maybe they do. Let me know about that if you've had any experience with it. Alright, one more bonus thing that I dislike is the inefficiency. So even though, you know, it is 310 miles of range, which is great, it seems pretty accurate as far as that too. The range, I drove quite a bit today. I'm only now at 250, so the range has been pretty good. However, the battery is humongous, so it's like I think it's 193 kilowatts or so. Almost a 200 kilowatt hour battery. The truck is like 220, so even more battery capacity. And for that, you're only getting like 300 miles of range. So you're really looking at, you know, what, 1.5 kilowatt hours or miles per kilowatt hour. That's just horrendous. You know, that's in ideal conditions with the battery not too cold. I'm not talking about winter. We're not talking about, you know, mountainous terrain or anything like that. So they're saying in normal driving, you're going to get 1.5 miles per kilowatt hour, and some of that's just down to the styling. I mean, you get this boxy windshield that's constantly pushing through the air. It's 9,000 pounds, so you kind of have diminishing returns on these giant batteries. And so, you know, that's about the best you're going to do in a Hummer. As opposed to a Rivian, you know, Rivian's, my Gen 1 quad motor can get 2.3 to 2.5 pretty easily. If you're on one of the dual motors, one of the more efficient ones, you can easily get like up to 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So double the efficiency of this. And, you know, yeah, it's an EV. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but if you're, crap. Yeah, people are calling you. If you're, I don't know what kind of ringtone this is either. Press decline here. If you, so the thing with the efficiency though, is that when you're trying to charge the vehicle, you know, if you charge it at home, like I live in Connecticut, and it's 30 cents per kilowatt hour, we're up to off the grid. So, you know, if you live in an area like California, you actually might pay more to charge your vehicle, especially a nice inefficient vehicle like this, than you would with gas. So it really does add up. I mean, if you're doing 200 kilowatts at 30 cents a kilowatt hour, you're talking $60 at home to fill it up. Granted, that's less than a regular Hummer or a big SUV. You know, if you had an Escalade, probably would be more. It'd be premium gas. It could probably still be quite a bit more to fill it up. But you know, some of the savings that you would get from having an EV are not there with such a giant battery to fill up and such an efficiency. You know, with something like a Rivian, this 133 kilowatt hours, and you get like 300. On mine, you get 325 or so. But like the dual motors, you get 400 miles of range. Some of them, so on a 140 kilowatt hour battery. So quite a bit better. You know, you're probably looking at more like $40 to $50 max, $45, but that's getting you an extra 100 miles or so of range on a dual motor R1S, and that's a pretty good trade-off for me. I think the performance is very similar to this, and you know, the thing with the Rivian too is you get 7 seats. So even though this is such a big vehicle, you've only got 5 seats. That's one of the main reasons I never even really considered buying one. I wanted a 7 or at least a 6-seat vehicle, and this is only got 5. So the packaging is not as efficient, and you know, some really cool things about it. The removable roof is cool. I don't know how much you'd use it, but it's cool to have it. And just the overall styling, I think it's conspicuous, it's cool, people like it. So anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for my review, guys. I hope you like it. I'll take some more driving videos and stuff later. Check out some of the other videos. We did a Watts to Freedom launch. We did a little bit of super light off-roading on some desert trails. So yeah, some cool videos. I'm gonna try to make some more. I hope you guys like this, and be glad to hear your feedback if you have any in the comments. All right, I appreciate it. Have a good day. Hope you like and subscribe to the channel, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.